I did, thank you. Ooh, that's a bit though.
Well, unfortunately, I'm up next, so I can't partake. But as soon as I finish, I can do my first semester.
Building the ground. You go in partake.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I'll text for two, so you.
Erica's gonna find a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke. There you go. You got it?
Oh,
Okay.
thank you so much. And I'm sorry, the one Clayton sent me did not have your PhD on it. And had I looked up there, I would have known it. So I'm so sorry. You did a great job. There was a lot in there. Okay. Very good job. Pleasure to meet you.
now I feel more better.
Yes.
You sang that song, what?
You saying it's on what?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they started pushing out here.
I know that. Mhm. No, no. We have, we do that event there every year.
Okay.
It was.
Trustee Hackett? Trustee Hackett,
I think there was quite a few
it's on your court. You ready to roll? Let's roll. Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Would everyone please have a seat?
Let's get started again.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bible here, sir.
I didn't even go back and watch it.
ladies and gentlemen, may we please have your attention? We know we are running behind a little bit, but we would like to, at this time, go back into session so that we can look at a very, very part of carrying buildings and grounds, which is very, very essential. So at this time, I would like to turn this over to my friend, Mr. Brian Schiff.
Thank you, trustees. I'll be very brief. I know we're running behind. Before I go into the presentation, I want to clear up one thing real quickly regarding the contract for facilities. The facilities contract, we started about a year ago putting together what we call a request for proposal, RFP. In that 73-page proposal, we did involve, as it was mentioned back in October of 2019, the last time that I believe we met in person, that some of the board members would like, some of the trustees would like to be a part of being able to evaluate and add comment to the RFP that was going out. Because RFP is a public document, that was not an issue at all. The two board members, the two trustees that did that was Trustee Hackett had a chance to look at it, as well as Trustee Frank Williams had a chance to look at it. And we received a few comments back that we were able to incorporate. And once the RFP went out, and I think we had a response of about 8 or so companies that felt that they could actually provide services based on the RFP. A committee goes on and evaluates the RFP, and then from that process, we choose the best responsive, not the low bidder necessarily, but the best responsive bidder respondent based on a criteria. From that, then we start, and so the contract is based on the contents that was in the RFP. It's not where we bring them to the table and we start to negotiate price and we start to negotiate what we want them to do. It's based on everything that is put in the RFP. The RFP again is on the purchasing website. It's public. It's still out there, and feel free to take a look at it. But as far as the negotiations go, it's not much of a negotiation. It's looking at making sure that they have incorporated in what they send us inside that we had inside the RFP for the most part. So just wanted to make that clarification to let everybody know that the contract that we have, that we are looking at right now from Airmark, is based on what was in the RFP that was put out roughly about 4 or 5 months ago. All right, on to buildings and grounds. There you go. Quick agenda, capital projects, event center update, council memorial, and welcome center updates. That didn't come out real well. So this is, I don't know if you have the presentation in front of you, but what it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
So what you have here is going to be the list of deferred maintenance projects. Actually, what you had before that. First one is correct. The first slide that you had before that was new construction, which didn't come up properly. And I'll just kind of go through that real quickly. New construction was Buchanan Way paving, phase 1, phase 2 paving, welcome center, event center, bus wash, power distribution, bus storage facility, council memorial, and Elmore training rehab project, rehabilitation center project. That was part of, those are the new constructions that we have going on campus. And in the presentation, it shows the possible completion dates. What you have here is a list of deferred maintenance projects. And I'm not going to go down that list, but you have projected completion dates and you have the funding sources. We did change up these slides a little bit to give you an idea of the type of funding, along with the status and the budget. Some of those budgets are actuals. Some of those budgets are still estimates because they're in the planning phase. The completion dates are dates not to hold me accountable for, but to give you an idea of where we're trying to get it, how soon we're trying to get those items done. Real quick, institution would be our actual funding that we have here on campus. It would be our actual AAMU funds. State and the state funds is from the state of Alabama, where there's Advancement in Technology Fund, which is HEF. And then we have also from the state PSCA funds. And we have federal, and if you notice, it's a lot more federal, state funding than it is institutional funding. We try to use all of our state and federal funds, and federal being Title III funds funding. We try to use all of that before we touch anything with institutional funds for renovations or capital projects. Can you advance the next slide for me, please? This is health and safety. We actually broke capital projects down in about 4 categories. The next category is health and safety. Health and safety kind of revolves around making sure that we're compliant and that we actually are making sure that people on campus are in a safe environment. On here, you see a couple of elevators, Morrison stage, rigging, things of that nature, and some fire alarm replacement.
Hey, Mr. Chef, I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if I missed it or not. I remember in our last trustee meeting, you mentioned about the capital project, possibly an arena, basketball arena. Is that something that is on here, or is that something?
Yes, so it was one of the first slides that didn't come out, I guess, didn't
The
project
university,
very well.
the university event
It was
center,
the event
It's
center.
a-
university event center.
Yes.
Okay. So that would be the basketball arena.
No, the
That would
university
be the
event center.
that we will play basketball in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, university
And we
event
have to
center.
be very careful. what we
Very
call it.
careful.
Basketball and volleyball.
Combination of things.
Next slide, please. The last slide, I believe, here is renovation and upgrades. What you see on there, exterior restoration of Drake Hall, Carnegie Hall, and Wilson Hall. Those are some of our oldest buildings on campus that are in need of upgrading. And again, you see that is provided through state funding. Palmer Hall HVAC, again, we talked about some of the money that we're spending in our residence halls. You know, I think one of the most important things inside of a building is air conditioning and heat. You want it hot when it's cold outside, and you want it cold when it's hot outside. Again, Foster Hall cafeteria upgrades, which should be just as nice as Knight is. It should come out just as nice. We're working on that right now. And there's just a few more on there that we're looking at moving forward with. Next slide. Pointing there. So real quick, what we want to do is ask for a motion for the administration recommends that the building and ground subcommittee approve the proposed capital projects listing.
Yeah, they recommend these to approval to the board of trustees.
Can I have a question before
Yes.
we move to that? These projects that we have, minority contractors, has that been a priority for us on all of these renovations, and most importantly on the event center and the new welcome center? How are we measuring as far as holding our GC accountable for the number of minority contractors who are working on our projects and expansion?
Okay, so yes, we have actually, good question there. What we have is, by state law, we cannot do what we would call a set aside. We cannot mandate a particular type of participation. But what we have inside of our bid specifications is where they have to show a good faith effort that they are reaching out to minority vendors. And when we open a bid, they have 24 hours to give us their subcontractors that are minorities. So while we cannot say, because you have a higher bid and you have more minority subcontracting, we can't do that under state law, under public bid law. We can make it not a mandate, but we make it a requirement for them to provide us with information where they did a good faith effort to find minority vendors.
In your assessment, what's your percentage of contractors doing that? Because I am aware of some municipalities that, you know, if that GC or that individual was not prepared to show actual contractors, it was not a consideration. They were not selected.
We have 100% of the contractors doing that. That paperwork is part of what we call a complete bid. So that paperwork has to be submitted in order for us to accept that bid.
What is that percentage in your estimate of participation?
You put me on the spot here. I think the last time we looked at it, the last time we had a slide on minority participation on campus, I think we were up around about 22%. But that was for a lot of smaller jobs or contractors that we have on campus doing smaller jobs. On the larger jobs, you put me on the spot again. I have to get that information and really take a deep dive into it, but it was maybe 3%.
What about the involvement of our students? I know we didn't have a lot of students on campus now, but I know as we're returning back this fall, what is the involvement of our students in our engineering departments and construction management and that would be involved with all of these expansion projects we got? What's the inclusion of our students in these things?
The inclusion is actually very well. It's something that I make and I take dear to heart, that I believe in trying to get as much experience for students as possible. So the Welcome Center, the Event Center, which is managed by Turner Construction, they hire project managers. It's a requirement that they hire project managers from the university. And same as with the Welcome Center with the company that we have facilitating that, they are bringing on about somewhere in the neighborhood between 4 and 6 project managers just to give them experience. So as we have larger multi-million-dollar projects, that's a must and a requirement of any project manager that we use, that they will hire students part-time, full-time out of their project management department or the engineering department.
Just want to kind of, and we can do this offline because I don't want to hijack the meeting. I just want to get with you offline regarding that participation level. We could say this all day, but if it's not materializing and our students benefiting of being involved with this process, and also minority contractors being involved with this process, this is just an opportunity. We don't want to we want to maximize our growth.
Trustee Ball, it'd be great if you'll provide that information to your committee. Chairs, if you provide the figures
To the committee.
to the committee. That'd be most helpful. We'll do. The total money amount, within estimates, as well as the jobs and, subcontractors to do.
Mr. Chair, can you share that with all the trustees?
Yes, once we get it done. Everything that we receive, we will share with everyone.
Trustee Hackett, there's a.
Okay, we will now have a motion for recommend that the Building and Grounds Subcommittee approve the proposed capital project listing.
Motion to approve as recommended.
We have a second. It's been moved and properly second that the building and ground subcommittee approved the proposed capital project.
Okay, real quick, the event center progress, what you see there, and I won't go through all this for a matter of time so that we can continue to move forward. For the most part, everything is on schedule. We're looking really good. And I'll just kind of scan through some of the pictures real quick. What I plan to bring to you in October will be a time lapse from the beginning of the project to the current project now. I think that may be a little more interesting in some of the pictures that I'm scanning through right now. Feel free to stop me if you would like me to explain anything. Other than that, I will continue to move forward. If you have come down the parkway as of recently, you will see that the structure is well within on schedule. And by the middle of July, we will have what we call the top out phase. That's where all the steel structure will be in place and we're ready to start putting a roof on top of it. Real quick council memorial update, just a quick cost breakdown of what it's actually cost to put that structure together. Finish date, we're still determining it as we finalize a few contracts on that as well. And again, that's a quick rendering of exactly what it will look like. I think it's going to be really a nice structure that will really enhance what we have up there on the hill. The Welcome Center update, of course, if you came in again through Meridian today, you'll see that there's a fence up there that you really can't see behind. There's a lot of dirt work that's taking place right now. And the biggest thing to understand about these projects is that we have possible lead time. It could be a possibility of lead items such as mechanical items, steel items, lumber items, things of that nature. We have a good report that is starting to dissipate a little bit, that the price of lumber is starting to actually go down a little bit. Of course, all of our prices are locked in, so there's no escalation that we have to be concerned about other than lead time for different large mechanical items. Real quick, that's the best picture that I could find, that I could take to show everybody having a really good time at the Welcome Center groundbreak. And again, just a picture of what it's going to look like once it's all completed. What you see here is the floor plan, and this is a second story floor plan that shows the offices for admissions. And what we want to do here is to give everybody an idea of what that's going to look like. The open area actually is the actual, you're looking down into the food court area. So real quick, what I want to do for a colleague of mine as well, approval of the assignment of the entire division of admissions to the new Welcome Center upon completion of utilization of the other areas and function spaces as designed.
We obtain a motion that has been read for the approval of assignment of the entire division of admissions.
Action, Chair, please.
Second. It's moved to proper second that the approve the assignment of the entire division of admissions Welcome Center upon completion. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you. That is the presentation for buildings and grounds. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a
question. Anyone have any questions?
I have a question on new business. I don't have a question concerning promotion. Yeah, so I have a question and I just wanted to get an update. I received a letter to trustees on behalf of council training school restoration in the Virginia Caples Life Learning Institution. Is there any updates that for the trustee to know anything about the MOU, Dr.?
Sure,
Houdini?
I'll be happy to respond to that.
Okay.
Upon the retirement of Dr. Virginia Caples, we took a recommendation to the Board of Trustees to create the Virginia Caples Lifelong Learning Institute, which was approved by the board. And in conjunction with that, it was agreement that the existing council training facility would be renovated to house that. The MOU with the council training alumni is that they were to raise $6 million within that period of time in order to do the restoration. So that MOU was designed to provide them what they needed to raise dollars. I have not been able to discern exactly how much has been raised, but to my knowledge, it's not even approached $500,000. So we still don't have the dollars in place to do the restoration of the structure.
So is there a question I have with, could we increase the amount of time on the MOU or provide them provide the council training, because I know that Reverend Scruggs was a graduate of the institution. Is there any way that we can allow their organization to meet on campus as they're trying to build a platform to raise money? Because I think that that's an integral part of the community as well it is with Alabama A&M, and I know that's something you support. I just wanted to bring this up because it was brought to my attention. Maybe we can discuss it in new business for the next format of how we can work with them in helping them with the location space. COVID has been very difficult for a lot of folks to try to engage in raising those funds. I think from what I'm reading, the MOU ended in 2020 during the height of the pandemic. If that's something that we can allow an extension and then maybe provide some meeting space here on campus so they have a central location instead of bouncing everywhere. I just thought that with some of the historic people that have graduated from that institution and what it had meant during William Cooper Council and the members there, I'm just trying to figure out if this is something that we should support as a trustee, or is this, if it's in your realm to discuss?
Certainly within the realm of the Board of Trustees to take on that discussion in regards to that. But I would respectfully decline at this point recommendation suggestion. We should go forward. I think it's something that can be left on the table until there is a transition. Move forward with that. And so that would be my suggestion. I certainly don't want to in any way commit to those persons that will follow. It's not something you have to do right now.
No, I was just.
So I would take it up with the president to be able to see. But I do think that they're going to have to be a bit more aggressive in terms of finding dollars, because even prior to, we did not get the kind of response I think should be there in order to move forward. That's something that can
Yeah.
be,
So will we be open to allow them have space to meet?
I think once we get to the point, obviously, that we can allow meetings. Right now, this is still in a kind of very restricted environment. That's why I'm saying that I would need for the next, because I think it'll be about that time in January before we get really back to the point of kind of meetings that would be necessary. So I would just put it on hold.
Okay. So I'll just pass this on to you, Dr.
Yeah,
Hackett,
yes,
for
yes,
his committee and to be further discussed.
Any other questions? I think my friend, our director of facilities, outstanding job, what he's doing. Some of you that do not know anything about facilities, it's a headache. It's a nightmare. So we want to congratulate you, your staff, outstanding praise with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Trustee Hackett, and outstanding work of your committee. We're glad to know that
Yes, yes.
and the expertise that you have in this area. They've got to make some technological changes for the next 5 minutes or so. So we're gonna pause for a little while until they get that done. They'll let us know when they're ready. If you got to make a quick break, let's do it now, Mr. President.
And then it's you.
I'm headed this way.
That's the letter that came from council training. That's to me. You want me to make a copy of every trustee, but I figured since you're now. Say this is what was sent. to us, but- I'm just passing on your. But I mean, Doc, I think you.
What I'm trying to do is, I think what